What you might not know is there are 300 branches, public library branches across the state. So there are programs for young children and their parents. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Susan Atkins, a supporter of the foundation and a leader in the library community. Susan?
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Thanks, appreciate it. I know why you're here. I know why you left your classrooms, your clinics, your offices, your boardrooms. Some people like me left their gardens, their laundry rooms. You came here for the same reason I did, because we all believe that early learning is the answer for our children and for our future. The children in the video told it much better than I ever could. So eloquent, so simple. The foundation has spent the time in the years that I've known it and supported it, making sure that children are ready for school, and supported their parents as being their first teachers. Hard to believe, but I was a graduate student in 2005, and that was when I first met the Foundation for Early Learning. I had just finished researching all of the wonderful research that was going on in early learning, and I thought, this is great stuff. I wish I had known it when I first had my children. If I only had known it then what I know now. But I thought, this is great. I'll do a research project on early learning and nonprofits. There's so much going on in Seattle. Well, I was sadly disappointed there wasn't so much going on in Seattle, even in 2005. There were wonderful little glimmers out there, brilliance, but they weren't spread around. And then I walked into the door of the Foundation for Early Learning, and I met the leaders there. And all of a sudden, the light went on. I realized that there was a group out there that was getting the word to everyone. That was their goal. And they were doing so much. It was a unique role, not just a daycare here and there, not just a small foundation that worked on isolated things, but a group that was focusing on the big picture, sort of a business plan. They were coordinating efforts to make systemic change, but most of all, they were benefiting those who were hardest to reach, not the people in Seattle, the people all other places. In the 10 years that the Foundation for Early Learning has been in existence in Washington State, they have accomplished so much. It's such a small group, it's hard to imagine. They've educated, they've provided resources, they've developed funding, and they've created awareness of the need for early learning in our state and everywhere. The Foundation for Early Learning is unique again. It delivers the expertise, the innovation, and the coordination of ventures. It helps to improve learning and life in our communities in Washington, and not just Seattle, places like Winlock, Wenatchee, Wildcat Lake, Wickersham, Washougal, all over our state. So today, you've invested in your time. You've come here. A wonderful thing to do. But I'm going to ask you to invest just a little bit further. I'm going to ask you to invest today in the Foundation for Early Learning. Our federal and state governments have stated a goal. It's a great goal, that every child will be ready for school. But there aren't enough public funds to make that happen. We need private funds to accomplish that, which means we need your help. Some of you funded a table or bought a ticket today, and thank you so much for doing that. But I hope you'll think of an additional gift for the Foundation for Early Learning. Some of you were lucky enough to be guests. And if you believe in this cause, and I think you do, please consider making a gift today. And if your employers will match your gifts, don't forget to thank them, and then make sure that your investment is going to be even bigger. I want to thank you today for sharing my passion for early learning. Thank you so much. Those are the librarians over there. So I have my fan club I brought with. And now that the hard part for me is over, I get to do something really fun, which I get to introduce the speakers for today, several of whom I know very well. But first of all, I'd like to introduce Eric Liu, who has been a partner of mine working with libraries for quite a few years. Eric has a very long resume. This is the short version, and he has done so much in his time, including been a teacher of mine while I was in graduate school. He's an educator, he's an author, and he's a civic entrepreneur. One of the books that is his is a book he co-authored called Imagination First, which explores ways to unlock imagination in education, politics, business, and the arts. And I suspect Foundation for Early Learning may have been some inspiration for that book. He teaches at the University of Washington, and he also hosts an acclaimed television interview program. He serves on the Washington Board of Education, the boards of the Seattle Public Library, and the League of Education Voters. He's a graduate of Yale College and Harvard Law School, and most importantly, he's a proud Seattle Public School parent of Olivia. He has been a champion of early learning through Washington Learns Education Commission and also through Seeds of Compassion. So I hope you'll offer a warm welcome to Eric Liu. There he is.
Susan, thank you so much. I'm sorry I can't hug you from afar here. Come on behind me here. I just want to say, first of all, my deep appreciation. Get out of my chair. I'm running the show now. First of all, my deep appreciation to all of you for being here today. The Foundation for Early Learning is just an incredible institution and organization, but really what it is just one embodiment of a really rich and every day getting richer ecosystem that we in the Northwest have really been able to create around the power and the importance of early learning. And we're going to hear in this conversation three different voices who are all really vital parts of that ecosystem and have been doing work in very different ways to bring forth the centrality of early learning. But before we start that conversation, I want to punctuate Susan's ask earlier with two things, one kind of logistical and one kind of more in the nature of exhortation. The logistical piece is to ask all the table captains to please pass around the envelopes and not let anybody take a bite of dessert before they've filled out their cards and their pledges here. And the second, just to punctuate in the spirit of exhortation, Susan is such a great champion and a very modest about the ways in which she connects and makes so much happen in a non-zero way. 1 + 1 = 3 when you play with Susan, and that's good math, particularly when you're trying to raise funds and build support for something like the Foundation for Early Learning. But the way I want to punctuate it as you start thinking about filling out these cards and filling out your envelopes and making your commitments is to really put it very simply about what this is all about. That video was unbelievable. It was very moving and powerful, and it certainly highlights the moral urgency of getting early learning right and investing in early learning. But even if that alone doesn't move you, I think the other thing that it highlights is just in the simplest terms, investing in early learning. Public funds, but certainly the private funds we're gathering here today. Investing in early learning is the only non-stupid thing for us to do. Period. It's the non-stupid thing to do. Anything but investing in early learning with great focus and passion and dedication is stupid. And I think we pride ourselves in this room on not being stupid. So I think as you think about the ways in which the downstream costs of inaction, the downstream consequences of holding back today, the downstream impacts of not giving all your all to the foundation,